Hey there, thanks for tuning in to Duck Bricks. I'm Chris, and right now I'm actually in the middle of the Sahara Desert, but a few weeks ago I found myself in California on a pretty crazy Lego shopping adventure with my buddy Sean, aka Bricks by Mind. Now, if you don't know, California, and specifically the LA area, is home to a ton of random used Lego stores, a lot of bricks and minifigs, and it's been a while since I went through a whole trip around the state and tried to hit up as many used Lego stores as I could in a single day, but that's exactly what I did. So join me and Sean as we go around California trying to hunt down a rare Lego and uncover some surprises along the way. And of course, stay tuned because at the very end of this video, there will be a haul. Let's go. Alright, let's kick off this crazy day by laying down some context. I was in California, as Duck Bricks usually is, for a mix of business and pleasure. I also had recently hired Sean, aka Bricks by Mind, onto my startup, so he also was in town for business and pleasure. But before our work meetings later that day, we had basically an open day. I mean, I still had meetings, but I was taking calls from the car. You get the point. Before in-person meetings, we had a full day to explore around the Los Angeles area and go to literally as many used Lego stores as we could in basically a span of time from when he got in to about 4 p.m. Lunch, of course, was absolutely not factored into our schedule, and you might be wondering, well, just how many stores did we manage to hit in just a short few hour period? Well, you're about to find out. So let's go ahead and meet Sean and get on over to location number 1. All right, we're here with Sean, Bricks by Mind, checking out the first stop, which is Bricks and Minifigs Lawndale. Have you been to any of the Bricks and Minifigs here?
I've got one near me. I've not been to any out here. I think I've only been to 2 ever, so I'm excited to see if we can find anything interesting.
Let's lock in. Alright, so going into Bricks and Minifigs Lawndale, there were some absolutely amazing sets to see just jumping in, like the Mystery Machine, a sealed version of the Episode 3 duel between Obi-Wan and Anakin, which is still a really cool and interesting Lego set, and overall, they had a really cool sealed retired set collection area, which was really cool. I think my favorite thing was seeing the exosuit from Lego Ideas. I loved this set so much as a kid. I literally bought 3 of them when they first came out, and also seeing sealed Chima, you know? I always like those eclectic, odd Lego sets, and that was very nice to see. Of course, they had a pretty good selection of used Lego items as well, especially in like the $15 and $5 bins. There was some pretty nice stuff. It's like some Ninjago stuff and all that, so very, very cool to see. And there were some interesting highlights as well. A 3D printed Lego blaster was so much fun. Like, this is the classic Lego Galaxy Squad / Alien Conquest and Nick Fury blaster, which was super fun to see. And I like their little cobbled together spaceships from Lego Star Wars as well. Of course, you've got the 4+ J-Mech, which is a classic Ninjago set at this point. You kind of have to have it. Honestly, a lot of small and cheap Ninjago stuff were featured. And then, they had a pretty good selection of Galaxy Squad sets. I mean, this is almost the entirety of the final wave, which was super cool. Seeing a Dino Attack T-Rex on shelves was awesome as well. Plus, the Lego Agents submarine set and the iconic Lego Agents truck was so cool to see. That was one of my favorite sets growing up as a kid, and it was really nice to see it for sale here. They had a really good brickhead selection, but what I ended up picking up were a ton of sealed Lego Mixels. One thing I'm trying to do is build as many Lego Mixels as I can and literally make all of the mixes and the maxes, which is maybe insane, but I'm trying to do it. So stay tuned for a Lego Mixels video coming at some point. That might not happen for like another year, but I'm still trying to collect as many as I can. I do own one of each original Mixel just regularly in their original packaging, but of course I had to actually get some for the actual combiner models as well, which is really cool. And it was awesome seeing some rare minifigs like from Lord of the Rings and Doctor Who as well. All right, we've made it to location number 2. This is Bricks and Minifigs Lomita, which you can see right there. Super interesting location for it. You excited?
I hope we can find something in this one, because didn't find anything the last one I was looking for, but fingers crossed.
That's right. And what are you looking for?
Ninjago. Anything Ninjago I don't have, specifically like 2011 to 2014 stuff.
Nice.
We'll see.
All right, well,
to find.
Fingers crossed. Let's see what we can find. For context, Sean's looking to finish and complete his Ninjago collection, and missing from it is Battle for Ninjago City, which sadly, spoiler alert, we didn't find at any Bricks and Minifigs, but we did get a chance to see the insane selection of stuff at Bricks and Minifigs Lamina, which was really cool. Of course, the Thunder Driller being for sale was very nice, plus the Raid VPN from LEGO Space Police 3, one of my favorite LEGO action-adventure themes from the mid-2000s, and overall, there were some really great sets here. Like, I picked up this LEGO Spider-Man set with Doc Ock's Final Battle. No minifigs, but that's fine because I already had all the minifigs already, so it was actually a pretty easy purchase for me to get, and altogether just a really interesting setup of different sets here. I think one of my favorite things to see was an actual scale build of the store where you can see the entire layout of the store complete with a ton of minifigs. That was super cool, as well as just seeing all sorts of different used LEGO items on shelves, which is always a pleasure of going to stores like these. You never really know what you're going to find for sale because there's so many different LEGO items out there. It was super cool to see some sealed LEGO Galador sets, and even a sealed Ninjago spinner, which is certainly not something you see every day, and I kinda regret not picking that one up. This cool LEGO Technic car was available as well, but sadly, I chose not to pick it up. I think I might actually already own it. I don't really remember. I'll need to check. I haven't built it yet. I remember every set I've built, but I have such a big backlog that I've honestly lost track of a lot of stuff. The Ninjago minifig selection was awesome as well, especially Energy J, which is one of the rarest Ninjago minifigs ever, for $200, which was wild to see. It was in good condition though, which is not something you can come by very easily. I'll say that for sure. Moving around the store, I just really enjoyed seeing just the different types of things they had because of course there were all sorts of different things like mocks as well as built sets and sealed sets as well. Alright, we are here at location number 3, Bricks and Minifigs Anaheim, and you just got a Hero Factory set.
Yes, I did. I already showed it off. It's in my bag.
That's right, that's right. First, you have CCBS sets, right?
Yes, not very many. Like, I think literally 2. I think I had 2 Hero Factory sets. I never bought the Bionicle reboot. Sorry, guys.
Kill him.
Partially my fault.
Kill him. Unsubscribe from Bricks by Mine.
Don't do it.
Unsubscribe.
He's just mad I passed him.
I don't know. All right, well, on to location number 4. I'd just like to say I missed that little side comment, Sean. Bricks by Mind has indeed passed Duckbricks in subscribers very recently, but we will recover. Duckbricks will always end up on top, so make sure to subscribe. We will beat Bricks by Mind. He just focuses on Ninjago. We do everything else, as you can see, so we will prevail. But of course, taking a look at Bricks and Minifigs Anaheim, this is always one of my favorite Bricks and Minifigs locations to visit because I feel like they specialize in a lot of the older vintage stuff, like of course you can see Life on Mars minifigs there, and even some sealed LEGO Hero Factory sets, and some open ones but with the packaging as well, which is super cool. Breakout Breeze is one of my favorite Hero Factory sets, so that was really interesting to see, and they even had a good Bionicle selection as well with the Titan Takanuva. Lots of architecture was for sale, but here, I chose to pick up 2 of the strangest sets they have, which were of course the Belleville sets. I am trying to get an 100% complete Belleville collection, because I kind of want to do a video on that. I genuinely don't think anybody else has done a video on that, so I do want to do that. It's kind of a weird, kooky theme with all sorts of weird molds, and that's why I love it. But seeing Exoforce, sealed M-Tron, some old modulars, all that sort of stuff was really cool to see here. And it was genuinely a really fun time just hopping from store to store, popping in really quick here and there, and just randomly picking up. You never know what you're going to get, just little bits and pieces of LEGO each time.
We're buying a Hero Factory.
Hero Factory by Mine. Ninjago no more. It's going to become a Hero Factory channel.
It's the ice one. That's why I'm getting it.
Yeah. Not a bad price either. Pretty good. Okay, we are at destination number 4, the next Bricks and Minifigs. This one's got a giant sign up there, which is pretty crazy. Still looking for Ninjago stuff?
Still looking for Ninjago. Hopefully I'll find something, because so far, no luck.
Let's do it. We'll lock in. This is a really cool entrance with like castle decals on the door. Let's hit it. I would say out of all the Bricks and Minifigs locations we visited so far, this one might have had one of the most unique selections of different sets. I'd only ever been to the store once before, so I really didn't quite know what to expect, and of course you never really know what to expect when going into something like this, but they had a really interesting range of different stuff, like the sealed Bionicle canisters, a LEGO castle set with the box, which of course I had to pick up. This one was one of my purchases from this trip. It's a smaller one, but one that's actually pretty cool, showcasing a skeleton defense. We were here looking all over for just different vintage items, and I loved seeing a lot of these older boxes, like the original Lego Indiana Jones sets, seeing some of the early waves of Lego Star Wars, like that twin pod cloud car we just passed, and then of course even seeing some of the Reebok sets like the movie Ninja Turtle stuff, the Alien Conquest mothership, and of course I was very drawn to the Bionicles as well. The Harry Potter Graveyard Duel was another really interesting one from Harry Potter that is a pretty rare item, and even seeing some Dino on the shelves was cool as well. So altogether, we had a really fun time just going through all the different boxes. Crazy to see this many Dimensions packs still for sale. Presumably these were all picked up right around when they hit dollar stores, which sadly I personally never found, but that was cool. And then seeing randomly half of a Comic-Con Brickheads, just half of them, the Martian Manhunter one by itself, was so strange but really cool. Of course, some highlights have to be the Episode 2 speeder chase. I cannot believe we haven't gotten a remake of that set yet. It feels like LEGO really needs to be doing that pretty soon. I did pick up that Ewok attack set from the vintage LEGO Star Wars theme, as well as a castle thing as well. I think it was the Knights Kingdom 2 Vladek chariot that I got here. And then of course seeing the minifigure selection was great as well. My favorite section was looking at all these original LEGO action adventure themes and the vintage figures. Seeing a Castle 2008 battle pack was cool as well, plus a sealed LEGO Viking set. Always cool to see LEGO Vikings, and then a built version of it directly above it. They even had a whole section dedicated to LEGO Castle with all sorts of different figures, and once more, the Ninjago selection of figures at this store was very, very solid. They had everything ranging from the movie to the original show, and once again, so many brickheads. Really cool to see just such a wide selection. I think one of my favorite minifigure sections here was the original Serpentine Generals, all complete with their staffs, and the original set of ZX Ninja, which all was sold as one set, which I think is super cool, just kind of grouping them together, because that's kind of an item of pieces that you would want to have together. It was also interesting seeing all sorts of different LEGO MOCs scattered throughout the store as well, like this Tatooine build, as well as some really great sets like the original Chamber of Secrets up there is one of my all-time favorite LEGO Harry Potter sets in general. The store itself had lots of different little smaller items as well, like the Final Wave LEGO Elves Eagle in a small Ziploc bag, which was quite nice, and then seeing that very nostalgic Rebel Trooper battle pack, which I got so many of as a kid, was awesome. But before we knew it, it was time to move on from this bricks and minifigs and go on to our work meetings. Of course, our time in California was spent doing a ton of other fun stuff as well, and while this video is obviously LEGO focused, I always love sharing some adventures, talking about some of the cool stuff we were able to do, and just all sorts of really interesting experiences we had. So in no particular order, shout out to my buddy Yvonne for showing me the Caltech Robotics and Aeronautics Club space at about 1 a.m. in the morning. I got a full tour of campus, got to see folks working on rockets between the hours of like 1 to 3 a.m., and also got a chance to see some jet engines and rockets he personally built inside his room, which was absolutely insane and one of the highlights of the trip. Yvonne is super cool and trying to break the Guinness World Record of the world's fastest remote control airplane, and given his progress and the fact that he's only a freshman at Caltech right now, I've no doubt he's gonna make it happen. Our work meetings were awesome, but what was even cooler was, of course, having dinner with Doc Wyatt, one of the current writers for LEGO Ninjago, where Sean and I got to ask him so many awesome questions about the show. We ate at our favorite Californian restaurant, which is Yamashiro. I love this place so much, and I bring everybody here. It's kind of a rite of passage. If I meet you in California, I'm gonna bring you to Yamashiro, and of course, I delivered a custom LEGO mosaic of Doc Wyatt's face to Doc himself, because of course, it's Doc o'clock. The next day, Sean and I decided to actually hit up Disneyland, which was an entire adventure of its own. It was actually Sean's first time, I believe, going to Disneyland since they opened up a lot of the newer rides, especially the Marvel stuff at Avengers Campus, and while I'm honestly not the biggest fan of Avengers Campus, the theming seems a little bit uninteresting for what a Marvel land could be, it was still really fun to just go around and experience, and of course, meet Bro Thinks He's Duck Bricks, so many ducks wandering around, and experience all of our favorite rides. Of course, Galaxy's Edge was a big highlight. I love Galaxy's Edge. I actually really think it is genuinely a very cool part of the Disney experience, and it never gets old for me. I could ride Rise of the Resistance like 4 times a day, and I would still really enjoy it. So that was awesome to see.
It's a foolproof plan!
Yeah! Let's go!
I'm cooked!
He's cooked! He's cooked! Let's go!
Bro is straight up just chilling. Let him cook.
Oh, this is the group I've been waiting for, yes! Come in, come in! I have an opportunity for you all.
The Resistance desperately needs your help in our fight against Kylo Ren and the First Order. Remember, it is vital that you keep the location of the Bakara base secret. Lieutenant Beck, one of our top commanders, will
There
lead...
appear to be a number of small craft heading our way. Raise the shields.
We got company! First Order TIE fighters! Reload! Reload!
You will tell me the location of the secret base, and then I will destroy you and the Resistance.
Look at the duckities! And of course, any good trip to Disneyland is incomplete without the trip to the Downtown Disney LEGO store. This is a location I've visited a ton of times before, and I've even done some videos about the store on this channel, so we're not going to dwell too much on the store itself. We actually didn't end up getting really anything from the store because we were pretty much caught up on all the newest releases, but it was actually really cool because I met some folks who actually recognized some of our YouTube channels who were working at the store, and I even got a chance to see one of the employees put together a really cute buildable Lego duck, which makes a lot of sense because our entire day at Disneyland had been hunting down all of these little ducks and ducklings running around that moves its head when you press the sides of the wings, which I thought was super cute. After taking some photos of the Ninjago packaging display, which was pretty interesting to see the actual Arc Dragon of Focus being showcased as a full-on artwork design with a wing, I don't think I'd seen that piece of art before. It was then time to move on. And then of course, as soon as the weekend hit, Sean unfortunately had to head on home, but the adventures continued. I got a chance to take some of my friends out to jet skiing, which was a very last minute decision. Initially, I was going to bring all of us out snorkeling and swimming, but then, for whatever reason, California weather for once decided not to cooperate. I woke up and it was pretty cold, and I said, you know what, I don't think we're gonna have a fun time swimming. So instead, literally on a whim, I rented out some jet skis and we hit the water. I've personally never jet skied before, but it was awesome, and now I want to do it a lot more because that was absolutely amazing. Of course, we had to do some parasailing as well, which was really fun. And obviously, it was just a really fun time just hanging out with all my friends in California. And as a special dinner surprise for the second night in a row, yes, we did go back to Yamashiro, and my co-founder for my startup, Sarisa, flew in literally just to meet a couple of people over dinner. So shout out to Sarisa, dude is a real one. He flew in from New York, got into dinner late because he came straight from the airport. He got in at like 8:30, so he shows up at like 9. Joins us for dinner for like an hour and then flies out the next morning, literally just to meet one of my friends. So that was awesome. Thank you, Sarisa, for doing that. The next day, I got a chance to actually participate in some pretty cool Caltech events. It's been a while since I've graduated college. I mean, I guess not that long. It's been since 2022, but it certainly feels like a while. So it was nice being back on a college campus and doing the college campus routine and stuff, like pitching the Caltech Longevity Club, which is doing some really cool stuff if you're into that field, really inspiring work they're doing. And then of course, going out on a helicopter ride all over LA, where I gotta say, I gotta be the only person transporting a Lego gift on a helicopter, because that was pretty crazy. It was one of the only times I've actually been on a private helicopter, and seeing the sights was so much fun. Of course, had to get shots of the iconic Lego bag, which I did bring on the helicopter because I was carrying a Lego themed gift, of course, and in true Duckbricks fashion, I delivered another custom Lego mosaic, and I've done some tutorials on how you can make these, but let me know in the comments if you want to see a more in-depth idea in terms of how you can actually make these as gifts for people close to you. I really only give them to some of the most special people in my life, and some of the most influential, but I really do feel like a custom Lego gift like this is genuinely a really nice thing to do, and I think that most people I've given it to have loved it, so that was really fun to do. Of course, the next day I got a chance to even attend some classes over at the university, which was very nice. I got a little bit of a customized tour as well, and then surprisingly enough, I randomly saw that literally outside the window of my hotel room, I was staying at the Langham in Pasadena, Euphoria Season 3 was filming, so Zendaya was just kind of chilling there. They were filming a wedding scene, which was pretty crazy to see, and they were basically doing that the entirety of my trip. So I did not expect to just see that casually outside my hotel room, but that was genuinely really, really cool, and one of the most unique experiences I could have seen at California. I mean, that's kind of the thing that you can only see in LA. But then, the LEGO craziness continues, and I genuinely feel so bad for Sean that this was literally the one Bricks and Minifigs we ran out of time to go to. Okay, so this is crazy. I've been on the Caltech campus hanging out with friends all week and getting some work done. Sean has already left, but I literally just realized that there is a Bricks and Minifigs on campus. I cannot imagine what I would have done if there was a Bricks and Minifigs while I was still in college on campus. I genuinely think I would be broke. That's crazy. I didn't even think to look it up, but we're going there now to Bricks and Minifigs Pasadena, so wish me luck. So I totally remember I've literally been here before because I did a meet and greet here with Ahmed Best, aka Jar Jar Binks, last year. So I've been here before, but I'm very, very excited. Let's go in and see what changed. It was literally 5 minutes from Caltech campus, and I was staying around campus the entire week, so I don't know why we didn't hit it. I guess we figured that we would hit all the other ones in LA first and then finish here, and then we just forgot, or we were running late for a meeting and trying to rush back. Anyways, the next day, I decided to go visit Bricks and Minifigs Pasadena, and it's been about a year since I last went. I actually did a full-on meet and greet there with Jar Jar Binks, Ahmed Best, which was so cool to do, but I returned to this store, and the stock was so insane. I literally made a separate video just diving into this one store, because that was actually one of the most insane experiences at a used Lego store that I've ever seen. So that video is linked in the description if you do want to see it. Again, they had probably one of the craziest sealed set collections I've ever seen in my life. All sorts. Name a theme, and they had maybe at least 60% of it. It was pretty crazy. Sealed Bionicle, Power Miners, Atlantis, Original Ninjago, Alien Conquest, Vintage Castle, some of the Lego Ideas Kuso sets from the very early run of Ideas, of all sorts of different stuff like Lego Vikings, old Harry Potter sets, Exoforce, Life on Mars, Mars Mission, the list went on. This was without a doubt one of the most insane sealed Lego set selections I have ever seen throughout my entire time just going around different places. And I've been to a lot of different used Lego stores. I love traveling around the world and finding random used Lego stores to go to. I'm literally in Morocco and Turkey right now, and while obviously Lego hunting isn't the focus of the trip, I am keeping an eye out for all sorts of interesting Lego stuff to see. But all things considered, this was insane. Again, never seen anything like it. I don't think I ever will. But the fun wasn't over, because a few weeks later, I went back to California and hit up even more used Lego stores. Of course, during my time there, we got a chance to do all sorts of fun stuff, like play one of my favorite board games, Stratego. Let me know in the comments, anyone here played Stratego? Let me know, because that is absolutely something I will challenge anybody to. But of course, before going out to a nice dinner, I had to hit up, in true tradition, Bricks and Minifigs Pasadena one more time, and they had even more stuff. Somehow the stuff they had was even more than the last time, and it had been 2 weeks. It was genuinely crazy to see that. It was honestly one of the coolest Lego set selections ever, and it was a real nostalgia blast as well, especially seeing so many original Cars sets, which I honestly missed out on. Most of the Cars sets when they were coming out, I kind of didn't really collect all of them, so it was really cool to actually get a chance to see them. After a delicious fine dining meal, would highly recommend checking out some of these restaurants. This one was called Celine. It was quite good. You know the restaurant's good when they let you take a photo with the chef at the end. The next day, I got a chance to meet up once more with Chris Doc Wyatt, one of the writers of Lego Ninjago, and this was wild because coincidentally, At the same weekend of my trip, the LEGO stores were hosting a Thunderfang Make and Take, which basically lets you build a mini Thunderfang. Yes, find the blades, set me free, and yes, you shall have the power you desire. That Thunderfang, they were allowing you to build him for free at the LEGO store. And what better opportunity than to bring the guy who created Thunderfang to the LEGO store to build him himself. So let's hear from Doc right now as we dock in to this build. All right, we're here with Doc Wyatt, Thunderfang, one of the writers of Ninjago Dragons Rising, at the LEGO store for the Thunderfang Make and Take.
They got a little bitty Thunderfang.
Let him cook. Dock in. It's Doc o'clock.
I'm gonna be there.
Let's do it. Doc.
All right.
Putting it together?
I'm gonna go to town, yeah.
Oh, yeah. All right. You want to race?
Yeah. Oh, let's do a build race.
All right.
You destroyed me. I'm like on step 11.
He's
on
on
step 12.
Let him cook. Let Doc cook.
Well, I tell you what, you won. You won getting to do Kevin's.
That's true. There we go. This is for Kevin Burke. That's right.
I've done something wrong. I don't know.
Well,
I don't know. I don't know how I messed something up.
Well, let's see. Find the blades, set me free, and yes, I shall give you the power you desire.
Look, it's got to be more Vincent Price.
Yeah. All right.
I got it. I finally got it.
You did it. You docked in.
Yeah. Chris built 2 and then fixed mine, and now I've finished.
Well, you created Thunderfang alongside Kevin, so we gotta give credit where credit's due. Overall, that was an awesome experience going to the LEGO store with Doc, building Thunderfang, and of course, we enjoyed a delicious meal afterwards at one of my favorite restaurants to visit in California. I mean, they have these all around the world, and it was really funny when I showed up. It's Heidi Lau Hot Pot. They were like, your loyalty account is in use in both Europe and Asia, and not here in the US. So, you know, it is what it is. I think Canada as well. So, I guess I've been to the locations all around the world. I think for Hot Pot, it's like, okay. I definitely prefer Dollar Shop, but you cannot beat the dancing noodle experience, which was awesome. I think Doc Wyatt enjoyed as well. But soon enough, after one final meal, it was time to head on back to New York, where I spent just 1 week in New York and then flew out to Morocco. So here I am right now. Hopefully you enjoyed this wild LEGO store shopping adventure in California. Somehow we still didn't manage to hit everything. Like, we hit most of the stores, but we didn't hit most of the other stores in San Diego or the ones that were a little bit further out, so we definitely have a lot of places to hit next time. But we will be going back to California for 2 days. Myself, Jonathan, aka Mini Superheroes Today, and Ethan the Artisan, we're going to be going hanging out with Doc Wyatt in the 2 days leading up to Brickworld Chicago. So you bet we will be trying to hit up as many used LEGO stores as possible. So expect a follow-up, a part 2 of this very, very soon. That's all for this adventure. Hope you enjoyed our crazy experience going around these bricks and minifigs, and bye for now. Oh, but wait, one last thing. Of course, we have to see the haul. Of course, no LEGO shopping adventure is complete without a haul. I'm still in my hotel room in California right now, but that did not stop me from building every single item I picked up on this shopping adventure and laying them all out for you to see. There's a really eclectic assortment of different LEGO sets from different eras and time periods of history all throughout here. A lot to see, so let's dive into the haul right now. So starting out with the boxes here, most of these sealed sets actually came from Bricks and Minifigs Pasadena, which was that absolutely crazy store with an insane selection of sealed items. In fact, all the boxes here, so the Insectoids one with the insect mask, the Lunar Lander, the LEGO Factory Design Winner Skyline set, as well as the Year of the Snake were pretty much all sealed, which was absolutely insane to see, given the rarity of a lot of these items. In fact, I think there's only like 3 listings of the Skyline set on Bricklink right now, and it's pretty crazy to see that in the box brand new. And same for Year of the Snake, because this was actually an Asia exclusive with a special print to celebrate the Year of the Snake in 2013, which was before LEGO was doing their traditional Lunar New Year style sets. The other 2 sets here were used, but they did come with the box. You have the Ewok Attack from one of the very first lineups of LEGO Star Wars, and then you have a LEGO Castle Knights Catapult Defense, which was just super cool to see a fantasy era set on shelves like like that. But let's move into these sets themselves. There's a lot to see here, so I'm going to start off with just some of the items I just mentioned. These came from a very different era of LEGO, where basically they were taking in fan ideas, but the building techniques were very rudimentary. They were promoting the Design by Me program, so for LEGO Factory, building your way, that was with the LEGO Digital Designer back when that was still a thing, and each of these 4 buildings basically represent a different mock made by a LEGO artist. So you've got this one right here, which was called the Hot Pursuit. So you've got kind of like a police building here. I actually think this is the most interesting building to me. It's got more of a unique architectural design with these studs on the side details. You even have a monorail, a helicopter, and a police car, then maybe like a getaway boat or something like that. So all sorts of fun stuff there. Then you have LEGO Corp right here, which is very, very simple as a building. To be completely honest, this was probably one of my least favorites because you're just building a giant rectangle and there's not much else to it. But again, this was very, very early days before when LEGO fans were just starting to kind of put together mocks and enter these competitions. Next up, you have Sears Towers. That's kind of interesting how this is mimicking a real-world building right here, and I think it's pretty decent for the rudimentary building techniques of its time. It's definitely not the most advanced thing, but I think I like it for what it is. And then I think the most advanced model is the Statue of Liberty here. This was actually designed by Nathan Sawaya, who you might recognize from a ton of famous LEGO art pieces all around the world. He actually is an official LEGO artist who has a ton of museum galleries and such open about his LEGO sculptures. So it's pretty cool to see some of the early origins here. We've gotten a lot of Statue of Liberty sets over the years, but this one is definitely one of the ones that is much more focused on kind of brick-based building going up. And we've seen better ones since, but it is really interesting to see kind of an early model like this. Moving on from that though, we have the LEGO Insectoid set. This is actually a set that I do already own, but it was brand new, and the reason why I got it was not for the set. It was for this Insectoids mask, which, yes, is wearable. I have been looking for this for years. I have never found one in good condition. I've actually never really found one in general, and it was a complete surprise to see it fully sealed in the box. It was 100% sealed, brand new, which was absolutely insane to see. What a unique box. LEGO doesn't really do stuff like this anymore, so that was super cool, and yes, it is wearable. Maybe I'll wear it at the end of this video. Moving on from that, we have the Year of the Snake set. The interesting thing about this is that this was actually an existing Creator 3-in-1 set, but now it was turned into a 4-in-1. It was a dinosaur set that they basically just used the pieces to make a snake out of, so you could make the snake out of the existing set, but the exclusive thing here was that 2013 printed circular tile piece there, which is super interesting to see. You can see the box art itself actually does have a different language being used for the text as well, which is super interesting. You don't really see that nowadays. And you can see that printed element right there. So that is a very, very nice addition to my collection, especially given how rare a set like this is. Moving on from that, the last one here we have is the LEGO Discovery Channel series, which was a pretty short-lived theme, but obviously we'd see some stuff like this pop up in the future. We even have a newer version of this released several years back, and that is the Lunar Lander, and this actually is supposed to be a replication of the NASA Lunar Lander here. You can see it actually fully lifts up, so you can kind of have this blast off from the platform there, so there's all sorts of great detail being used here. There's pretty rudimentary building techniques, but still, it kind of gets the job done. You can actually retract the landing gear. You can kind of open up some of the positions here to actually allow the astronauts to come out. And the astronauts themselves are pretty nicely detailed. The interesting thing is they are just using stickers for the American flag there. So that is just a stickered element. Same for the decals on the lunar lander itself. There's just a sticker detail being used there. But it is pretty interesting to see a set like this. And finally, the final 2 boxed sets that I did mention were the LEGO Fantasy Era Knights set here, which is just a fun catapult. The skeleton battalion itself is using just one of these skeleton shields, as well as an archer with a black helmet. It's a very, very simple design, but one that looks really cool and definitely fits into the Fantasy Era world. Moving onwards, we have the LEGO Star Wars Ewok Attack as well, featuring the very first design for a scout trooper with speeder bike. Super, super vintage style of design. The the older style of Ewoks, and then my favorite part of the set, which is this Ewok glider, which is kind of soaring in the skies above, mounted on a ball joint, so you can angle it different ways. It also comes with a pretty simple catapult as well, which is pretty funny how I've gotten basically 2 different catapults in this one haul. And while we're in the Star Wars section, I got this little droid escape pod with the classic versions of C-3PO and R2-D2. I already own the minifigures, but I don't think that I had this built at least, so this is going to be a fun one to add to my collection just to kind of display alongside the other droid escape pods. But moving on from that, there were a ton of sets that I got that actually did not have boxes, and that's actually what I prefer. There was one more brand new set, and that was this Technic set right here. Unfortunately, the box itself, as you saw, was pretty much just the interior of the box, but this is packed full of functionality. It's utilizing the hydraulic piston method here, so you kind of press down on this, and you can see you can cause it to lift up, and then you can switch it down, and you can cause it to go down. You can really just retract it up there. So it's really, really interesting how you can kind of use this mechanism. The fascinating thing when putting this together was that I actually had to cut the hydraulic tubes themselves, or the pneumatic tubes. This was definitely something that was a very challenging build, even just as a standard Lego set. There were lots and lots of different gear functions going around. You can rotate this. You can actually steer the model itself. You can retract this back and forth. You can retract the string back and forth. There's a lot of things that you can do here, and you can see just all of these little tiny bits and pieces of things that you can twist and turn to actually change the way that this works. So it's a really interesting model. I had a ton of fun building it, but it really goes to show that Lego Technic has really come a long way, not just in terms of making the mechanisms even more complex, but making the instructions easier to understand. This was genuinely kind of a challenging build because the instructions would just have you put things on, and then just you had to really make sure that you were paying close attention to make sure the gears were lined up and the hoses were cut the exact right length and the string was tied up correctly. So lots of interesting things going on with that build. Moving on from that, we have a relatively modern set here. This is the fully Venomized version of the Venomized Groot. They had it for super cheap. I think it was like $25, and I already owned the Venomized Groot, but I kind of used the half Groot, half Venomized Groot form, so I thought it'd be cool to actually own the fully Venomized form as well. So that's just going to be something to add on to my collection, almost like now I own 2 copies of that set. Now moving over here, speaking of Marvel superheroes, this is a pretty interesting one because this was the Doc Ock's final, I have the power of the sun in the palm of my hand kind of final death scene here, where you've got this really interesting kind of scientific mechanism inside here for the fusion reactor. It was one of the classic Lego Spider-Man sets, and it was pretty cool because this was only $100, but I got it because I already owned the minifigures, but I just needed the set, and this was $100 without the minifigs, so it was actually a pretty good deal. You have a pretty fun play feature here that kind of splits this open to cause the entire lab to explode. It's a really interesting build, and I have to wonder if Lego will ever revisit it someday because it is a pretty interesting location. It's not perfect. There's actually supposed to be transparent purple pieces being used here instead of blue with a print on them. The actual windows are supposed to all be stickered up, but only one of them does have the actual stickers, so it's not 100% perfect or complete, but it was a really good price, and normally this set is a lot more expensive, so I'm happy just replacing the parts that I need to. There's just a few purple parts in there that need to be replaced, and then a few of the stickers, and then it will be totally good. Moving on from that, we have a very old vintage set, and this was actually kind of a homemaker set predating the minifigure. It's a really interesting build because obviously it's at a completely different scale, but all of these stickers and decals were present, which I thought was super cool. You have the American flag there, which is pretty neat. You've got this chalkboard showcasing some math equations there and just showing like 1 + 1 is 2, 1 + 2 is 3, so on and so forth. And all of the students have those corresponding numbers they've written down. You can see they're being very studious, copying down exactly what the teacher is telling them to. You've even got some numbers as a sticker on here. So this was a really, really interesting thing to put together. It's definitely part of that vintage style of Lego for the old homemaker style sets, and it's just another really nice one to add to my collection. Speaking of vintage Lego, we have the Fabuland Fire Station here. Now, unfortunately, this particular build was honestly just not the most accurate to the actual set. It's missing like a base plate, a few trees, a few other bricks to kind of add some detail, and that's why it's just kind of falling apart here because there's nothing really holding it together. But it was relatively inexpensive, and I can pretty easily get all of the missing pieces. It was sold as is, so I just wanted to get it mostly for the figures, the accessories, all of the Fabuland specific pieces that need to be there are there, especially this piece right here is super, super cool. Just a completely different style of Lego building. And of course, we're celebrating Fabuland here this year with the Lego house set, so it felt pretty perfect to pick this one up. Moving over to another very strange scale of Lego, we have two Belleville sets here. Now, Belleville is a theme I am absolutely fascinated by. They use just such different pieces compared to other Lego sets, and I am kind of trying to collect like all of the Belleville sets, at least all the fantasy ones. And these aren't fantasy ones, but I still thought they were really interesting because look at just how large these big green pieces are, giant base plates. Look at that giant skateboard. Belleville is one of the strangest Lego themes ever, but I love how this character just has the Lego logo on the shirt. That's really cool, and I will buy any Belleville I come across that I do not already own. So I had to pick these up. They were also pretty cheap. I think they were like 50 bucks a piece or something like that, so not too bad. And for the pieces that you get that are so interesting, I was very happy to add this to my collection. Look at that chrome silver bucket. That is so interesting. But with that, there's only a couple of final items here, and we have a Knights Kingdom 2 Evil Vladik Knight or Shadow Knight Chariot here. This one didn't come with the rest of the minifigures or the green horse, which is the rare part of the set, but it was super inexpensive, and just one that I'm going to consider good enough to add to my collection because I think I do already own the green horse that would have come with this. So that's what it is. It actually is missing a catapult piece. It should have had like this catapult on top. Super easy for me to replace, but I do find it funny how technically this is the third catapult in this haul. I got this gigantic minifigure that says Dig Those Dinos. It was a Legoland California exclusive giveaway that was only given to kids who participated in the Dig Those Dinos events where they kind of pan for fossils. It's a really weird and strange promo item, like the legs and arms, or sorry, the head and arms move, but the legs do not. And it's just a really bizarre thing that I wanted to add to my collection. Moving on from that, we just have a few final items. I will land on the most expensive item, but we're going to start off here by just taking a look at these Mixels. Now, the cool thing about these Mixels is that they were actually all sealed. These were sealed in the bag, and I kind of just wanted to have the experience of opening up sealed Mixels. They were around like $20 to $25 a piece. Some of them were $15, but they're a little more expensive than they were before, but getting them sealed was super cool, and of course I had to open them up and build them. There were a ton of spare pieces because I already own every single Lego Mixel set, but now I want to go in and actually own multiple copies so I can build all the combiner models. Like you have the Maxes here, you have a Mix right here, and you just have a standard one right here, which I will be combining with some of the other Mixels that I have at home because I just want to be able to collect all of the different variations of these characters. I think that would be super fun. But finally, there is one last item here that actually was the most expensive single item I picked up. And Star Wars fans might recognize this minifigure because this is Phase 1 Commander Fox, who I actually already own. But this is a very special version of him. It's technically an official, well not official, but it was a widely released misprint. Similar to the black hair Kanan Jarrus, the smooth hair Leia, or even the recent Qui-Gon Jinn with a different colored beard, which kind of came out as a misprint earlier this year. This is supposed to have a dark gray set of circles printed on the torso to keep it to be more accurate to the actual animation counterparts, but this version of the figure does not have those dark gray circles. It's a very minor difference, but because of that, this is a very expensive figure. The going price was, I think, around $850, but the store was kind enough to give me a bit of a discount on that, so I'm very happy about that. But it is very cool to finally add the misprint version of Commander Fox to my collection because I never really thought I would own it, but I just saw it, it was for sale, and I just had to pick it up. But with that, I think we have summed up the entire Bricks and Minifigs haul throughout California. We visited a ton of stores to get to here, and this was such a cool experience just going through and picking all of these up. Of course, let me know in the comments, do you own any of these items? Which ones maybe do you want to own? Have you had experiences going to any of these Bricks and Minifig stores? And which place should I check out next to go Lego store hunting? Because this is always one of the most fun activities. Again, I'm here for business, but I just had a few free hours in the day and I was like, you know what, Sean? We're hitting up Bricks and Minifigs. So what a fun experience. I hope you enjoyed this crazy adventure through California, hunting for rare Lego. I certainly was able to pick up quite a few items I didn't already own. So that was super cool. I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you so much for tuning into Doc Bricks. Be sure to like and subscribe for even more Lego news, reviews, discussion, and analyses coming your way very soon. Bye for now.